Howdy. I have here the base model M4 iPad Pro, the 11-inch with 256 gigabytes of storage. It retails for $9.99. I got it for $8.99 through their education discount pricing. Never pay full price. Never, ever pay full retail. So we're at $899 so far for those of you following along at home, okay? So far, all we have is a magical sheet of glass. I use this magical sheet of glass to make my silly videos, and you best start believing in silly videos because you're watching one. These are all of the additional accessories I use that I consider essential for turning this little tablet into a video making powerhouse. Let's start here with the Magic Keyboard case. I think it's a perfectly good place to start. The Magic Keyboard, to me, is a no-brainer, and I'll tell you why. On the one hand, having a keyboard and a trackpad with you at all times is essential. You need both of those things to get any kind of actual work done, and especially so if you're going to be editing video on this thing. You know, there's probably not a better stand that you could buy. I understand the appeal of going mobile desktop, and we'll talk about that. But as far as having a mobile desktop, something that you can pull out of your bag, I honestly think you're still going to want this even as just a stand. You know, when I use a separate keyboard and a mouse, I still leave it on this Magic Keyboard case because it's just, you know, I've got tilt adjustment, it's sturdy, it's stable, I can feed it power. And on the other hand, this is a thin tablet, paper thin. I mean, thinner than your bank account after you buy it. And that creates some concern about whether the tablet is going to bend or not if you're on the go. I assume if you're getting this, it's because you want to have it on the go. That's why I wanted it. I carry mine in a GoRuck GR1. It's kind of like a military-style backpack. It's got this sleeve that fits like a glove. This is not a bag video, but honestly, if you're going to invest in really good hardware, you should invest in really good bag, I guess. I've never had problems with my iPad's bending. I have been using an iPad for 6 years now as basically my only computer. For like since 2018, this was my daily driver. And I love it. I love typing on it. And I hated it at first. And then as soon as I got used to like typing on this Stormtrooper styled keyboard, I fell in love with it. And this is a topic for another time, but I always felt vaguely limited by having just an iPad as my only computer. I no longer feel that way with this newer tablet. Now, I think some people have felt that way about the other M series iPad tablets, and all the power to them. I never had an M series. This was an A series iPad. So some of the Pro apps I did not have access to, such as Final Cut Pro for iPad, which I've kind of fallen head over heels for. Okay. I feel some extra assurance about the health of my iPad while I travel around because I've got the Magic Keyboard case attached to it, which is this year made out of aluminum. It's a little sturdier. Like this one like feels hard. I don't want to bend it because I still care about it. And there might be aluminum inside, but it's got this like plastic around it. It adds like a layer of reinforcement. That's really what I'm getting at. It kind of braces your iPad. I'm less worried about it bending is kind of the point I'm building towards because there's this thick sheet of metal, you know, bracing it, I guess, while it's in my bag. I don't know. It's not like I'm falling on the ground. Like I have a military bag. I'm not like marching and rolling around on my back like a helpless turtle. I just like having a good bag, and I'm not worried about my iPad bending. I'm going to move on now. The other reason I consider the keyboard case essential is because it gives you an extra port, not for data, but for charging. That way you can have your iPad plugged into a socket while you're running your external SSD out of the data port, which we're going to get into the SSD, but for now, I want to focus on power consumption. The next accessory I like to use is a hot brick, a power bank. I walked into a Target the other day and finally bought one because I was so sick and tired of hunting down wall outlets to keep this tablet juiced up. Look, if you're going to be a power user with your iPad Pro, you've got to understand that the battery life on this thing is abysmal. I mean really bad. If you're streaming stuff, the M4 chip is so efficient that you're really probably going to get all day battery life out of it. But if you're editing videos using, like, if you're pushing the tablet, pushing the computer in some kind of pro app workflow, you really aren't going to get all day battery life. It's going to chew through your battery like a dog that's trying to get at the peanut butter at the bottom of the Kong toy. Like, it's just, you're going to be chewing right through that battery. They changed the design of the tablet this year. They chose to make it thinner. OLED is a display tech that is just thinner than traditional displays, right? There's no backlight. So they could have chosen to keep the tablet the same dimensions as before, but build in a bigger battery with the additional space created by not needing a backlight for this new display technology. They did not choose to do that. Why? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. My best guess is that they couldn't figure out a way to get people to upgrade their devices faster. So they're going to start making all of their devices thinner so the battery is smaller so it will degrade faster. For example, the rumors are that this year they're going to announce an iPhone Air. It's going to be thinner and lighter than ever before. Do not buy it, okay? It's almost certainly junk. It's going to be prone to like bending and snapping. It's almost certainly junk. And this should give you a good idea of what I'm talking about battery degradation. I'm at 133 cycles. I've already degraded my battery by 3% of its original overall volume, which originally that capacity was not a lot. So I've lost 3% of what was already not a lot. And I've only had this tablet since May. You know, I'm always on the move. I can't always find a table near an outlet. So having this power brick, which was $99 if you're following along at home, to keep your tablet juiced up is essential. If you're going to get an iPad to make videos, I would suggest you invest in a power bank. Your needs may vary. Maybe you're using it at home. Maybe you're mostly near an outlet. For me, I consider a power brick, a hot brick, essential. I got this one from Anchor. I did no research on it at all. I just saw it while I was walking around Target. I knew I was looking for a power bank in Target. I saw it. I was like, that one looks really good. This one looks delicious. And I grabbed it. And I've not been disappointed. It's a 24,000 milliamp hour battery, which I gather is an awful lot of milliamp hours. And it does the fast charging, which is really convenient. Right now, one of the things I really love is it like shows you the watt. I don't know if you can see that. It like shows you the wattage coming out of it. So right now it's pushing 30 watts to my iPad as I read this script to you. I just like seeing that data. It's cool. It's really neat. I don't know, I stare at it. I don't know. I'm a nerd. Forgive me. This cost me $100. Okay. This cost me an extra $100 to get me battery life comparable to a laptop, only instead of being built into the device, I carry it separately. Okay? For those of you keeping score at home, we're now at about $1,300 with the keyboard, which was $300, the tablet, which was $1,000, but I got it $100 off, so it was really $900, and the power brick, $1,300. Okay? The next thing you're going to need is a solid state drive. if you're going to be editing videos, you want somewhere to keep your files organized. Something big and portable. I am not going to count this against the tally for the cost of this machine, because to me, if you were going to buy a MacBook for video editing, you would want an external SSD for that as well. But I've got a 1 terabyte Samsung T7 Shield. It was a little over $100, and then I recently invested in a 2 terabyte T9 in case China invades Taiwan and it becomes impossible to purchase a decent SSD while World War III breaks out. So, hey, if you're an entrepreneur looking for something to scalp while the world burns, you could start hoarding storage devices. Anyway, I've got plenty of storage going forward, and I feel confident that this is about all I'm going to need for a little while. You don't go cheap on storage, but also don't add it to the iPad internally. It's not worth the bang for the buck. Like I said, the battery's going to degrade. Your SSDs should outlast the longevity of this tablet. I expect this tablet to maybe give me 4 to 6 years. I really don't think it's going to go longer than that. Okay, I shoot all of my footage on this Osmo Pocket 3. It records to a micro SD card, so I find my dongle from Sateki. I find this dongle from Sateki. I should have better B-roll of this somewhere, so I'm not going to spend too much time trying to grab focus. I find it essential. It looks cool. It's transparent. You know, if you like seeing the internals, I think it's trendy. Like, it's kind of the same thing that's going on with the DJI mic. It's too dark. You can't see that. It looks cool, and it does its job. And those are like the two most important things in life. Looking cool and doing your job. This dongle has all three of the things I need. I've got power on the edge. I've got like, I think 40 gigabits per second or megabits per second. I don't know. The 40 something. It's fast. It's like Thunderbolt 4, not Thunderbolt 5, I think. And then micro SD. This dongle was, how much was this dongle? $45. Okay, moving along. So, like I said, I consider the Magic Keyboard case essential. But if you want to go rolling around with a portable desktop setup, you know, keyboard, mouse, display, like, you know, no laptop, better ergonomics, mouse and keyboard, you know, you don't have to hunch so much. I think this is a great tablet to do it with, especially because of the OLED display, because even from far away, there's so much clarity to the text, to the web pages, to whatever you're doing on screen, that even at 11 inches, it's like, you know, you've got way better viewing angles. Like, I don't know if it's going to come across, but, you know, you can probably... This is a terrible angle, but you can probably read the text on that screen. I don't know what other kind of display tech other than e-ink you could say that about. Even when I'm sitting relatively far away from this tablet, I don't have trouble with eye strain, with reading on it. Like, one of the big selling points for me was getting away from an LCD display, because I don't know if it's because I have astigmatism, right? You may not have astigmatism. What astigmatism basically means, well, I'm not sure. It basically means, I think this eye, my non-dominant eye, if I take my glasses off, slowly starts to creep in. And I don't know if something's wrong. When I'm using other kinds of screens, I tend to start seeing double after like a few hours. Like, my eyes start wigging out. I do not have that problem on OLED, which is partially why I'm so comfortable on my phone for long periods of time, why I'm comfortable on this tablet for long periods of time. I don't know if it will solve your problems like that. But for me, I've just got terrible eyesight. Just dreadful. Like, I'll see my girlfriend from across the room, and I think she might be looking at me, and I'll kind of look in her direction and smile, and I don't know what face she's making back at me, because all I see is this like blurred out blob, and then she'll laugh because I think she knows that I can't tell what she looks like. So that's how bad my vision is, and it was a ramble and a rant, but love this display. A lot of people were like, "I don't get the big deal. It's really not that much better of a display." Totally disagree. Even compared to like the mini LED display in the 13-inch M tablets, I think this is better. There's no blooming. Everything is crystal clear. Mwah. Perfect. Okay, mobile desktop. You could save the $300, right? And go with a cheaper alternative, like the Apple Folio case and a keyboard. And this is really lightweight. Like this, one of the things about this is it's $100. You can't even connect to multiple things via Bluetooth, but it's really light. It takes up almost no space in your bag, and I don't have any qualms about just chucking this into my backpack. And it's like got the slight gradation, you know. It works. Is it the best thing in the world? No. Is it good for what it does? Absolutely. And one of the things that the mobile desktop is going to get you is ergonomics, right? I spend almost all day on this tablet, and that means I'm often positioned like this. Are you with me? I'm going to move this far away. Oh, I'm hecking up. So I'm often, I mean, I don't know if you can see how cramped in my hands are, but I'm often like this, and I'm like really lean forward, and this is a 20 millimeter lens, so it's making me look enormous because it's exaggerating the Z-axis, like this shoulder, this arm looks enormous. I'm not this big of a guy. This is exaggerating how big I look compared to the tablet, but it's still, you can imagine that over time there's a lot of strain, not only in my wrists and my forearms, but in my back. And so there are absolutely times where when I'm working on an edit, in fact, even tonight, I might sit back and scrub through the timeline with, keyboard shortcuts. You're going to use J, K, and L. You're going to use I and O to select your in and out points. You're going to hit E to put it at the end of the timeline. I don't have my mouse tonight. So anyway, ergonomics. You don't want to be spending all this time bent over looking like a Tyrannosaurus. What else? That being said, I do like having a trackpad so you can pinch and zoom on your timeline, because you're going to do that all the time, especially if you get the 11-inch model like I have, because it's such a condensed viewing space. I don't know who needs a television as a computer monitor, huge 40-inch screen, but if you're a video editor, like a serious video editor, which I'm kind of a silly video editor. I love editing video. I don't have powerhouse tools yet. But you are going to be pinching and zooming and scrubbing through your timeline a lot when your canvas, is condensed to an 11-inch screen. So having the trackpad so you can kind of zoom and pinch and throw it around really saves you a lot of time. Again, you're going to be like this a lot, like the world's silliest DJ, like, whatever. But with a mouse and keyboard, while you can't pinch and zoom in on the timeline, you'll have to lean forward and do that on the touch screen, which this has. With the mouse and keyboard, you can at least hit shift and use the scroll wheel to go horizontal, to do the horizontal scroll on the timeline. I just found out about that. I didn't know you could press shift and use the scroll wheel to move horizontally. I got ambushed by a customer at Staples because I was buying a mouse years back. And he was like, you're going to want a mouse with a horizontal scroll wheel, but he didn't say it like that. He said like, you're going to really want a mouse with a horizontal scroll wheel. And then he was like, yeah. And he was like really selling me on a mouse. And I'm like, this guy doesn't even work here. But he was like, yeah, when you're in a spreadsheet or something, you're really going to want that. And I didn't have the heart to tell him like, hey man, I really appreciate you, but like, I'm not ever in a spreadsheet. But anyway, turns out you can just press shift and scroll wheel. You don't need a wheel that goes horizontal. Okay. Bonus accessory, Apple Pencil. Now, there is absolutely a case to be made that many people do not need this. I probably even did not need this. However, I'm making videos for YouTube, which means I'm making, on the one hand, a thumbnail. And I find this pencil essential for doing just that. I'm often making my own PNGs where I'm like erasing the photo by drawing out, like kind of just erasing the outline on some image. If I can't find a PNG that I want for what I want to talk about. I find the pencil helpful. Absolutely, you don't necessarily need it. I like doing the live drawings. I'll say that, obviously. Is it worth the $130 I spent on it? I don't know. I think so, but again, that's me. But for those of you keeping score at home, what you're going to spend on this tablet probably to get yourself set up for editing videos. $1,000 if you buy the base model iPad full price. $300 for the Magic Keyboard case. $100 for the power bank. $45 for a USB hub. $129 for the pencil, and that's a grand total of $1,571, and that's before you get a keyboard, before you factor in external storage, before you talk about a camera. Meanwhile, an entry-level M4 MacBook Pro retails for $1,599, and you wouldn't need any of this shit. But I'm the M4 iPad Pro bro, right? Right? All right. Well,